I'm going to give you 4 ways to become a more innovative content creator, because I know that sounds easy, but it's not easy to come up with actually like new and different stuff. So the first way to become a more innovative content creator is you need to do things others aren't doing. And I think a great way to do that is with formats. The format of your content of all different platforms and all different things is highly underrated. A unique format is a massive competitive advantage. So, for example, my newsletter is 1 paragraph. My podcast is people asking me questions instead of me interviewing the same people that have been on a million other shows. Those are competitive advantages. My newsletter is inherently different. It won't be for everyone, but it's inherently different and stands out from what most newsletters are. The podcast is inherently different and stands out from what most podcasts are. So whatever you're going to do, and this is true of social posts, it can be true of videos, it can be true of newsletter, any content that you do, figuring out how can I choose a format that is unique or that is different. You don't have to, but if you can have a unique format, it gives you an advantage. My newsletter shares tips to help people get clients from their content. Lots of people do that, but mine's a little different because it's only 1 paragraph, right? So the format, you can get away with doing things that aren't necessarily innovative if you package them in an innovative or unique way. The second way to become more innovative content creator is to experiment often. So your content is going to miss more than it hits. This is what also holds people back from experimenting. They go, oh, I tried this and I tried that and it's not working. It didn't work and blah, 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 blah. If you go into it and you go, look, most of my stuff isn't going to work, but it doesn't matter. I don't need it to. All you're doing is looking for a couple things and maybe even one thing that worked really well. A single hit can send you off in a direction that turns out to be all that you need. So if you go into it going, as opposed to I'm trying to get every post to work, if you go into it and go, I'm going to try 100 posts that are really unique and weird and different. And all I'm hoping is that 1 out of the 100 clicks. I don't care if 99 fail. It's a really different approach to content. And once you do that, now you can start thinking in those terms. So to put it as a comedian or stand-up world, test premises. A one-off joke doesn't get you much, but a premise has infinite potential. A premise could be built into an entire special. A premise could be built into an entire sitcom. So the difference between testing a one-liner joke and testing a premise, the upside is way higher on the premise. If you approach your social content in that way, where you're like, I'm looking for formats or premises or things, you could go in and you go, to use what we talked about before, you could go, I like this idea of building around a brand or something that people know, right? A Costco, a McDonald's, a Chicago Cubs. You could go, I'm going to do 100 pieces of content about 100 different known entities. And I'm going to see what clicks, knowing that it doesn't matter if most of them don't click. But I'm looking to find that thing, because someone would have done that. Like someone could have done okay, I'm going to do 100 different stores. Here's the best products at Costco. Here's the best products at Target. Here's the best products at whatever. And they might have stumbled into, oh my God, this Costco one people were really into. Maybe I should do more Costco stuff. That's the value of a premise versus a one-off sort of piece of content. Number 3, third thing you can do to create more innovative content, the more specific you get, the more innovative your content becomes. So most people, when they create content, it's way too vague in general. This is why you see all the generic like self-improvement stuff. And people are like, whatever.
Next.
If you get more specific, it automatically becomes different. And so I'll give you an example again in your space. You could create a piece of content that was something about this is what it's like to do stand-up. Or you could create that same piece of content and have it be this is what it's like to do stand-up on open mic night at the Hollywood Improv. Some people who don't relate to an open mic night or the Hollywood Improv aren't going to care. Your target audience, who knows what that's like, is going to be way more interested in that than this is what it's like to do stand-up. They might be interested in both, just like self-improvement fans might be interested in both generic and the specific, but the specific is going to stand out way, way more. And then the fourth thing here, the fourth way to create innovative content is parody the world of the people you want to reach. So this is where I was going to get into. Here's some specific examples where you're like, okay, but how do I do this for comedians and my audience? So I'll give you a couple examples. Years ago, there were some comedy filmmakers who had been signed. I forget what agency it was, but they were signed by one of the big talent agencies. But nobody really knew who they were. The industry didn't know who they were. And they wanted the industry, their target audience was the industry. I need the industry to know who we are. So they made a short film that they put up on YouTube or whatever. It was basically a YouTube video. And it was a parody of life inside, I forget what agency it was, inside like CAA or UTA or one of the big agencies. Hacked with inside jokes that people that work at agencies would know, references to people and whatever. So what do you think happened? Everyone that worked at every agency saw the video because it was speaking to their hyper thing.
I
Deadline,
used to work at
Variety.
CAA.
Yeah, there you go. Deadline and Variety posted the video. That's specific. It's specific and it's parodying the world that they know. So if you want something to spread among comedians, it's like an inside joke, right? Or inside baseball. Like you don't care about anyone else, but you want every comedian to go, just like I said, like open mic night at the Hollywood Improv is different than a general thing about stand-up. So the more inside it gets, the better, the more likely it is to spread. Trung Fan is a guy who's built a huge, massive Twitter following. He pokes fun at tech and startup culture. So it's just very specifically that. Another thing you can do here is you can leverage what's being talked about and popular online in that moment and put a unique spin on it. Whatever it is in the news, like maybe everyone's talking about the Olympics, but your audience is comedians. So maybe you do some stuff about if you had to be a comedian to be an Olympic athlete, right? If the Olympics were just comedians against each other, what would that be like? But it's just coming back to that thing and getting specific. People can't resist it, just like that agency video. It doesn't even matter. That agency video, the agency video happened to be very good, but it could have been mediocre. It could have been mediocre, but it was so inside. They'd be like, do you see what the CAA video said about UTA or whatever it is? It's people are going to talk about it.